I feel really lucky to be here at the London Palladium. I've never been before. It feels like a true honour to be speaking to you here.
This is the first time I've ever actually done a full show, and I'm singing a tiny bit, but really I'm just the sort of compere linking all the songs together.
You're singing a tiny bit, that's exciting.
Well, well, wait till you hear it. No, I just sing a song which illustrates how a great tune needs a good lyric. However great the tune, if it's got a rotten lyric, it might struggle. And I sing a rotten lyric to a great tune that I wrote many years ago, and it's quite funny.
I don't believe you've ever had a rotten lyric.
I've had a lot.
It must take quite a lot of practice though to perfect the lyric.
Some lyrics take a long, long time. Usually the ballads, the slower ones, the love ones, because almost everything you feel has been said before, and to try and find a new way to say it's quite difficult. A funny song, or a song which tells a story, like even Don't Cry For Me Argentina, is actually easier to write because it hasn't been done that often before. Writing a tune is something which most composers say you either get it quickly or you don't. And lyrics, it's more like writing a history essay or something. You can't just say, here's a brilliant lyric, or even here's an average lyric. You have to sit down and work through it like you're writing something for school almost.
So does a tune tend to always come first?
Not always. Most composers would rather do the tune first. It gives them more freedom, I think. Whereas lyrics, I have written lyrics first, notably with Elton John, because he always likes the lyrics first. He's hardly written anything ever that didn't come from somebody's lyrics.
Wow. That's quite unique, isn't it?
It's very unusual.
And it didn't put you off working with Mr. Elton, did it?
No.
Well, how did that collaboration come about for The Lion King?
Well, I was signed up by Disney to work on the film The Lion King, which at that stage was not much more than one piece of paper and a couple of ideas and a very vague plot. And the producers at Disney said, "Who would you like to write the music?" I thought, "What, anybody?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Well, Elton John."
Wow.
And I said, "But you won't get him." But they got him.
How does it even begin? Do you sit at a desk and type away?
Yeah,
or?
to a certain extent. The key to any great musical is not really the songs, not the words, not the music. If they're great, it helps. The key is a good story. And if you've got a good story, that's your starting point. And Superstar is a pretty good story, which I didn't really write. I mean, it was Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. But it was interesting to put a different spin on it, with Judas being a central character, which he's not in the Gospel.
It was quite a controversial musical at the time.
Yeah, a long time ago now, but we got banned in various places. I mean, the Pope, the late Pope, heard Superstar, and I got a photograph of him holding the album.
Wow.
It was taken about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
If we go way back to when you were a boy, where did your love of music come from?
Well, I think it just came from pop records on the radio. First really big pop act from Britain, following Elvis and the Everly Brothers and Chuck Berry and Little Richard, all the great rock and roll heroes from America, was Cliff Richard and the Shadows. And they were our guys, and they were good. School friends and I formed a group, and we used to do Cliff and the Shadows numbers.
Were you Cliff?
Yeah, I had my moments as Cliff.
And your love of musical theatre, when did that first set out?
My first awareness of musical theatre was through my parents' album collection, and I got to know a lot of the show's scores, but I never really went to a show because we didn't live in London, and I wasn't interested in musicals, but I was interested in the songs. But when I met Andrew, he'd seen all these shows, and he wanted to write for musicals. That was his big ambition. And I knew enough about how musical songs worked to be able to work with him.
And your first project was, of course, Joseph.
Well, it was the first project. It was the first one that got off the ground, but the first one we did together never got anywhere. We didn't make any money out of Joseph for quite a long time. Of course, Joseph eventually became a West End show, but that took a long time.
And it's still touring. Every year I feel it's
Joseph
in our
will
theatres.
see me out.
Yeah.
Probably see you out.
You're now 80 years old. It's hard to believe. You look so wonderful.
Thank you. I look 79.
Are you still working on other projects? Is there any signs of
Well,
slowing
I've got
down?
one or two fingers in a few pies here and there. I'm not desperate to do another show, but I've done a few songs with Andrew for somebody else's show, so I keep keeping my hand in. But if the right project came along, I wouldn't mind giving it a go.